Hi everybody, welcome back to Football Talk with Vinny. In today's video, we're going to be going over the Los Angeles Chargers. So the Chargers are going to be the 13th team on the list. Now obviously I'm going by draft order in terms of where that team should have picked in the first round depending on their record. Again, with teams trading first round picks, sometimes it might not be where they actually picked, but again, this is the order that we're going in. So let me get right into their offseason. They did lose a couple of key free agents, guys like Melvin Ingram, the center Pouncey, and then the tight end obviously signed it with New England and Hunter Henry. And then they also lost a cornerback, Casey Hayward. So they did lose a few good players. So again, they are going to have a difficult time trying to replace the players. Obviously, good news is they definitely found their quarterback of the future. But you definitely, while he's on his rookie deal, you want to be able to surround him with the talent while you can before you have to pay him. So in free agency, they signed one of the best centers in the league in Corey Linsley from the Green Bay Packers. They were able to replace the tight end by getting Jared Cook. Probably a downgrade, but again, at least you got a serviceable player there, not someone who you're hoping is maybe a third or fourth round pick that can come in and play. And then they brought in a right tackle, Matt Feeler. And again, you lost a couple guys on the offensive line, so bringing in the center and that right tackle is definitely going to help that offensive line play a little bit better than it played last year. Pretty smooth offseason, so let's get right into the draft. With their first round pick, they did take an offensive lineman, Rashawn Slater. This is actually the guy I wanted Dallas to take at 10 or 11 or 12 by trading back. But again, I think that this is the easiest position to hit on a player in the first round, right? When you take an offensive lineman, it's actually the easiest to draft a Pro Bowl caliber player right away. And also this pick makes sense. The Chargers needed help on the offensive line. You also have to protect your quarterback, which is maybe at this point your best player, even though they do have some very good players on their roster. But Justin Herbert looked really good his rookie year. At pick 47, you took Asante Samuel Jr. Obviously, his dad did play in the NFL. So I really like that pick. You lost Casey Hayward, so you got to replace the cornerback position. Now at pick 77, you took a wide receiver. You took Josh Palmer, so I really like that. You want to add some more weapons for Justin Herbert. And then at pick 97, you took a tight end, Trey McKitty. So there, you did obviously lose Hunter Henry. You replaced it with Jared Cook, but now you also bring in a young guy who can maybe learn from Jared Cook for a year or two, or maybe he can come in right away and be successful right away. But even if he's not, he doesn't have that pressure that he has to. Now very quickly, let me go over the rest of the draft as those are outside of the top 100. So at pick 118, they took a linebacker, Chris Rumpf. At pick 159, Braden James, an offensive tackle. Then you have pick 185, you took a linebacker, Nick Niemann. At pick 198, a running back, Larry Roundtree. And then at pick 241, you took Mark Webb, who is a safety. So again, for those guys picked outside the top 100, they're realistically just hoping that they can make the roster and really make a contribution on special teams. But again, nothing really crazy for the Chargers this offseason. Everything was kind of smooth. Again, I think it's really obviously going to come down in terms of their regular season. How much better can Justin Herbert get? He was already very good. Does he actually take a step back? Now the defenses have a whole offseason to really see what he liked to do last year, what he didn't like to do. And as a defense, obviously, you want to make him do more of the things that he didn't like and you felt he wasn't comfortable with. You know, we saw this from Baker, right? His rookie year, he was lights out. He set the passing touchdown record, but that second and also third year, he kind of struggled a little bit because again, defenses were able to see what he did well and kind of change and kind of give him different looks that maybe he wasn't comfortable with. Now, obviously, I'm not trying to compare Baker Mayfield to Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert was really, really good. But again, if we look back at Baker's rookie year, he was really good as well. So if Herbert can play the way he played his rookie year or even a little better, this team, I think, easily has a chance to make the playoffs. Because again, when you have an elite quarterback, you don't need the rest of your roster to be particularly that great, even though I think because the Chargers obviously are not paying him any money, I think the Chargers actually do have a pretty good team. Their defense has a lot of good, young, talented players. Same way with the offensive side of the ball with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. Obviously, you are in probably one of the toughest divisions. You got the Chiefs. The Raiders are a decent team as well. And the Denver Broncos, I think, are going to be a much improved team also. It's kind of hard to really rank those three teams outside the Chiefs because you could really put them in any order. But in terms of projections for them, I'm going to say anywhere from 7 to 10 wins. Again, if you get to 7 wins, you're probably going to miss the playoffs. If you can get closer to that 10-win mark, you could probably make the playoffs as probably a wild card team. I guess there is a possibility the team wins 11, 12 games. I just think it's going to be really hard when you have a young quarterback. Sometimes there'll be games where he'll just make a couple of mistakes because, again, he's a young quarterback, and those could cost you a game or two. Quickly, let me get into the cap space. They actually have $19 million to spend, and next year their cap number is $51 million. So obviously, because they chose not to really spend any of the money this season, I think they set themselves up next year to really see what their team needs, and if they make the playoffs, great, but even if they don't, they're going to have a lot of cap space in order to fill a lot of the holes that they can see during this upcoming season. I think the Chargers are one of the best teams in terms of you're looking at their future, right? They have, I think at this point it's safe to say one of the best 10 quarterbacks in the league already right now. If he can get better in year 2, and a little better than he was in year 1, he could potentially be a top 5 quarterback by the end of the year. I know that's saying a lot, but he did play very well. But again, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to hit the like button and also subscribe. They do both help the channel out a lot. But thank you guys so much for watching. I look forward to the next one. Bye.